Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Duke. Duke, I've got to walk off for 1 minute. I'll be back, okay?
Go on, no worries. That's not a problem. Andy, how are you?
Not bad, thanks, mate. Hanging a bit. I'm
You what?
I'm hanging.
You're hanging a bit. Was it a long night?
Well, it was a long day. Got in the pub about 11. I had a few double vodkas because I'm off the beer at the minute. So I was drinking vodka and slimline tonic. What finished the game, and then Shelley and the couple of people who are with their wives went to see Mamma Mia the party at the O2.
Yeah.
And then they went to a Centre Force rave in Slug and Lettuce, so we ended up going there after the O2.
So Andy, you're feeling fragile.
I got up about 12:30.
I'd only been working 4 hours.
I tell you what, that was earlier than me today, but I had a different reason. I got freezing cold yesterday. I do with my arthritis. I just couldn't bloody move, so I've just spent most of the day trying to warm up.
Do you reckon that's the age, Steve?
Absolutely, yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
right.
don't I know it.
Right, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Fultram Iron. You know me, you know these two reprobates. We are here to discuss yesterday's fantastic afternoon against Forest in the Premier League. I'll tell you what. Let's just Sharky is waving his pink hand in the chat apparently, and we've got Larry. Good afternoon, Larry, and Daniela is here as well, saying no shouting. Then Andy, is that well, we have to keep it down a bit, yeah?
What?
Hey. For those of you that are watching, there's 6 of you. If I've dragged you away from the rugby or from the Celtic and Rangers game, I apologise, but I wanted to get this done because I will be in about 40 minutes supporting the Geordies in their pursuit of a trophy against Manchester United in the Cup final. The reason I'm going to Geordies is my grandfather and his family before him were born in Newcastle and are from Newcastle. So today and for one day only, I am going to be an honorary Geordie in honour of him, and we'll go from there. Boys, we obviously discussed on Friday night, and then put the video out yesterday morning, the game, the lineup. Afternoon, Mr. Cockney. We obviously discussed our thoughts of what we would like to see and what we were expecting to see. Andy, you gave us what we could expect to see, and then obviously we all gave our thoughts around what we wanted. Were you happy, Andy, when you saw the lineup that came out?
Definitely with Danny Ings starting and Paqueta being back. I think he's finally finding his feet. I was very surprised with Johnson's inclusion, to be fair, but he actually had a good game, to be fair.
He was excellent.
Yeah. So the change of formation helped, and I think when we're playing, I don't want to sound disrespectful, teams in the bottom half of the table, I would like to see us be a bit more adventurous and maybe have the 2 up front. But I can't grumble. I really couldn't grumble, to be perfectly honest. Like I said, I've been giving Emerson his praises, but I understand why he put Johnson in, especially with the form of the other Johnson for Nottingham Forest. I think he nullified him well. He's the better defender out of the 3, but going forward, he's not ideal. But yeah, I thought he had a good game, mate.
Steve, when obviously you both were at the game, weren't you? I had the unfortunate situation of having to bloody work. I look really white. What is going on? I'm going to have to sit all the way back. I'm going to have to be here. Obviously, you boys went to the game. I didn't.
Yeah.
Steve, your thoughts and what was the kind of the general consensus of fans at the stadium when that lineup came out? And obviously, as Andy said there, he's alluded to the fact that we chose a right-footed Johnson over the 2 left-footed left backs to fill the void. What was the consensus around the stadium?
It was cautiously optimistic, but everybody where I sat was really nervous. And I think everybody was saying, why is Johnson in and not Emerson? You know, it was a bit of a sort of, oh, we'd have preferred to see Emerson there. And I know James and I were sitting there debating it and said we'd have both picked Emerson. And then we both had to eat humble pie on that because, to be blunt, in the first half, Johnson's got some stick from people today, and I don't get it. I thought he was absolutely immense. Nobody got past him. He had a really good game. You know, some twit on this channel said he dropped Declan Rice and put Flynn Downs in. I don't know who that idiot is, but he should have his head beaten soundly. God, Deck was immense as well. That was me, by the way, for anybody who didn't watch the preview. Go, how wrong can you get it? Yeah, people were nervous. I mean, the tension. I sit with a really nice group of guys. You know, we've all been going for a couple of years. You know, they bring the wives along, and we all chat beforehand, and all of us were tense before the game. I didn't realise just how nervous I was until we put the first goal in, and I felt like a ton weight had been lifted off my shoulders. It was most bizarre feeling, but yeah, everybody was cautiously optimistic, but nervous, I would suggest.
Well, I mean, I'll be honest. That lineup came out, and there was a little back and forward in the in a chat group that I'm in, a couple of chat groups as to was it a 3-5-2? Was it a 4-3-3? Was it a 4-2? 3-1? Was it what was it? And I was confident that in possession that was going to be a 4-3-3. Right, that was going to be Ben Rama, Ings and Bowen as your front three. Probably trying to push forward out of the three, but it was going to be a 4-3-3 in possession, and then obviously out of possession was going to revert to the 4-2-3-1, 4-5-1 kind of thing. I was part of me was disappointed to see Souček in there. I've got to say, I mean, he had a good game last time out. Let's not mess around.
Yeah.
And I was I was surprised to have seen Johnson there over, one of the two boys with a left foot. We were singing Emerson's praises before we came off air on Friday night, Saturday morning. Obviously, I've got to say I was surrounded by people. I managed to transfer my pub to the south of France, so I did get to see the game. And I was surrounded by a few people that were watching the game with me. And they kept asking me questions, and I was getting a bit pissed off because I just wanted to watch the game. I didn't want to have conversations. But I turned around and one of the questions they asked was, how are we actually playing when we don't have the ball? I don't know about you boys, and Andy, I'll come to you first. I don't know about you boys, but I was really surprised that we actually played a significant portion of that first half, probably the first 30 to 35 minutes, on the front foot. We pressed them back. We were pressing high. It kind of took me, I say higher than what we've pressed all of this season. It kind of took me back to a year, 18 months ago, when we were actually putting pressure on them before they got into our half. What about you, mate? Honestly, what were your thoughts? You were there, so you saw it up close.
I'm going to probably get a bit of stick of this for work, but the reason why we're pressing so high is because Mikel Antonio's out of the team. When he's up front by himself, he just walks around and lays around and makes the defenders on the other side just pass the ball around easily. Danny Ings worked so hard off the ball yesterday, the closing down, which allowed Ben Rama to get more forward. The amount of times we intercepted the ball in Nottingham Forest's half was ridiculous.
Yes.
It was ridiculous. But Bowen, on Match of the Day, Micah Richards got Bowen as his key player, and I 100% agree with him. The duels he won, the crosses he put in, and Danny Ings got a lot. I saw a lot of people on Twitter. I managed to get signal in the London Stadium yesterday, which was surprising. At half time, and everyone was saying, Danny Ings, get him off. He's useless. He's useless. This is at half time, Brian. Yeah, get him off. He's useless. We've got no urgency or anything. And then all of a sudden, we're spinning to lot. But Ben Rama, if you just, I think that's why we saw the best of us was with Johnson at left back. It was like Johnson, just sit back. Ben Rama, just stay up there. Just stay up there. Don't bother. He tracked back quite a bit, but he had that freedom. And then when he got the ball, he was dangerous. The step overs, causing two players around him. And Paqueta, oh my God.
Oh,
The link up between them two was just ridiculous. The flicks and everything. And everyone was booing, like, he's not in the Brazil side. But I don't know about you. I'd pay to watch Paqueta keep the ball. what he does. It reminded me of a Brazil game.
Well, I'll tell you what, just before I come, Steve, on to you, seeing as you've brought up Paqueta, where's the chat? I've lost the chat. As soon as you brought up Paqueta, right, I've got a message yesterday. I've got to try and find it. There you go. My younger brother, God love him, after this was at 4:20.
So that's halfway through the second half, probably before the goals started to go.
Yeah, before the goals. There was a message that said, "We are so bad. Subs, please, David." My brother turned around and said about Jarrod Bowen, he could probably pull his shorts down and take a shit in the centre circle and our fans would still clap. My brother said, "This is my first time watching Paqueta live and I can tell you that Mark Noble is a better player than that thing. Ben Rama useless, Cresswell useless. Souček doesn't know where he is or what he is. Is he a 10? Is he an 8? Is he a 4? I don't know. He don't know." And then my brother put, Moyes don't even know. Paqueta is currently being given the runaround by a 42-year-old John Joe Shelby. Ben Rama, let me tell you about that. And then there was another word. And he said, our first sub was a left back at 0-0. They're currently taking off a centre midfielder for IU. And he said something, what did he say about Paqueta? I said about the fact that I felt Paqueta was being hindered by the shoulder injury. Obviously, we all saw him go down holding that shoulder. And I put it in the chat, boys. I was very concerned, that shoulder again. Steve, your thoughts on obviously what I consider to be a higher press and our first half performance?
It's interesting because I was sat there and I thought we were damn good. I mean, I know other people, and I've read quite a lot of comments who are saying we were terrible, we didn't work hard enough, we didn't do this. We were all over them in the first half. And the only thing we didn't do was score. And to be honest with you, the header rings missed. We were halfway up out of our seat as the ball came across and it's gone wide. And we've all gone, what? Danny Ings has missed that. I thought we were good in the first half. Now, there seems to be this default setting by a lot of people, no matter how good it is, we're going to moan about it. And I don't get it. I really don't. You've got to take it game by game. We were terrible against Spurs. We were damn good yesterday. And people say, oh, it wasn't a very good Forest side, but you can only be good against what's in front of you. We played well. We pressed them hard. We won the ball back. Agree with Andy. Jarrod Bowen was immense. I thought Ben Johnson at left back was a brick wall. Oggy had a great game. That's the best I've seen us play this season at home. And the first half, I was really happy with the first half, except we didn't get a goal. And how we didn't get a goal, I'll never know. Ings was at the post, all sorts of things. So there you go. It's my thoughts on the first half.
I was just about to say that the one that hit the post, it was like the little flick, wasn't it? And it just did. And it's at that point, I'll be honest, I was watching it and I'm like, oh, it's happening.
Yeah.
It's happening. And it was quite frustrating because, like I say, I felt we dominated a large portion of that first half. Now, I'm not one to do stats like the absentee Gatesy. I'm not one like that. I don't put the stats up on the screen. I talk about the game because for me, the stats, they can whitewash a game and what we actually see, for ourselves. And I actually thought yesterday we were higher up the pitch when we were pressing. Andy, like you said, Ings was chasing between the two centre backs, which allowed Bowen and Benrahma to come and join him. The amount of times that Declan Rice, Andy, as you alluded to, stepped in and broke up play, or Paqueta stepped in and broke up play because there was that loose pass from their centre-backs going forward. I actually thought the first half gave me hope. The first half gave me confidence that we were going to go on and do something. I didn't think it was going to be, the kind of 8 minutes special that it was. But I thought that when we came in at half time, I actually thought, you know what? I'm really impressed with what I've just watched. That was a really, really good game of football. I think Moyes, as Andy alluded to, he set us up to go out and press higher. Like you say, Andy, no disrespect to the teams that are in and around us in that lower part. But if we can press high, we can cause damage. We can cause issues for them.
100%.
Again, we touched on part of the second half via the text message from my brother. I don't know. Do either of you know the reason for the Soufal sub? Was it an injury? Is there something in there, or was it kind of tactical?
No, he's got a heel injury, from what I've heard Moyes say.
Right.
Since.
And that really did cost us, mate. I don't want to sound. Aaron Creswell's been a great servant for this club, but he nearly cost us dearly. I remember it's that ball. I think it was Fabianski who just played a ball. He had 8 yards of space, and he managed to miscontrol it and not get to the ball before the Nottingham Forest player. If he's gonna be starting to feature again, then he's gonna cost us relegation. I really do think that. It reminded me of the Palace game. Again,
the only time. Sorry, Andy. The only time Forest had a spell when they were on top is when they targeted Cresswell at the start of the second half. I mean, I read a comment, a few people saying we were better balanced once Cresswell came on. He had a dodgy start, but it was okay. Blimey. That wasn't a dodgy start. That was, we're going to target him, and they nearly got some joy out of that. Aaron Cresswell's been a great player, but his legs are gone.
Yeah, I think his confidence is affected by the fact that his legs are gone as well. I think it's I'll be honest, for me, it makes for uncomfortable viewing when he's on. I mean, I just have this feeling that Moyes is probably going to use him in the conference, and the problem is I don't want him ended up being the hated figure that he was last year for costing us with the 2 red cards. You know what I mean? So I don't, because he's been such a good servant, I don't want him to go out on that kind of low. You know what I mean? We started the second half, boys. Like I say, he came on and he took the corner, didn't he? For the Souček header that flashed not so high and not so wide. It was proof that, you know what, when you do have Cresswell on, his set pieces are top drawer. He's that side of his game is fantastic. But I think the unfortunate thing is we do suffer elsewhere on the pitch. All right, let's talk about the first goal then, and we'll do it bit by bit. Some really good build-up play in there, I felt, and then it was a great ball in to him.
Yeah,
Bowen, wasn't it, that played the ball into him?
So Ings was the one who started the play, and what a ball out wide to him as well.
He won the ball.
Yeah.
He won the ball fairly narrow or shallow in their half, didn't he? Only about 4 or 5 yards into their half, and drove the ball out wide, but didn't just stop there. He then got on his bike to get into the position that he found himself in.
See, that's where I want to stop. If Antonio was playing, Antonio would still be in that same position. That is where we've got an extensive, and I think Scamacca would do the same as well. If Scamacca was there, he does the same. And like the idea of the fact that if Scamacca and Ings does play, don't get me wrong, you lose out. But if you've got that high press, imagine the damage Scamacca can shoot outside the box, and having Scamacca and Ings to target Benrahma. But some of Benrahma's deliveries as well was outstanding. So if you've got 2 strikers in there who knows where the goal is, you're going to score goals, and that's what we've been lacking all season.
Don't you? If you're Benrahma and Bowen out on the left and right, you have a choice. You can either go low for the goal poaching assets that Danny Ings does provide. Let's be honest, by drilling it in low, you've got the opportunity that Ings is going to make that right run. You can then go high with your cross because you've got a 6 foot tall, 6 foot plus Skamaka in the box. And again, it comes down to exactly what I was saying before. Skamaka wins headers like Andy Carroll, and Ings is in and around like Kevin Nolan. Do you remember those days? There was some good old chicken motions.
Yeah.
Off of the back of those two, So I'd love to see them both start up front. I mean, the chances are it's probably not going to happen, chaps. But I'll tell you what, though, considering we've had to wait. I mean, we haven't scored many this season. We didn't have to wait long for that second one to come along, was it? As far as I was still watching the game. In fact, I was still watching the VAR dispute of the goal on my channel, whilst Sky Sports were reporting on the second goal. That's how A, far behind I was, and B, how long it took for the second goal to come along. It was nothing.
60 seconds, I believe, between the two.
I believe it was. Andy, it comes from the other side. Can we not? It comes from the other side, and this time Ben Rama.
Oh yeah, see that's what you love about Bet, and that's a confidence thing. And I actually do think a lot of players have put their arm around him. I don't think Moyes does treat him fairly. I'm going to admit that. I do think sometimes, like he was like the sub yesterday. I thought I would have kept him on. I really would have kept him on. Our goal difference is not great, but it's not good either. I think in that space, I know Fornell's obviously set up the fourth goal, what we'll talk about, but I would have kept him on just to run at him, just to continuously. That would get and he could have got a goal. Do you know what I mean? I know he got the assist, what he needed, but a goal would have gave him the better But yeah, like you said, just try. No one knows how to deal against him, and like he's proved that over the last how long he's been at the club. When he gets the opportunity, he does. And like I mentioned, if Antonio plays, that second goal doesn't happen. Sorry if it seems like I'm digging him out, but I'm being honest.
Well, to be honest with you, I don't think the first goal happens either. Because did you see that finish from Ings? The ball was behind him. That was a really difficult finish by Ings. I'm not sure Antonio could have done that.
No.
To be honest.
No.
I'll tell you what, I'm going to talk about something that I could see happening as it was happening. I actually saw I turned into Mystic Meg or Septic Peg, whatever you want to call her. I actually envisioned in my mind's eye as it was going forward, as it was happening. Steve, from your vantage point, obviously where you sit, we attack the goal in the second half down that end of the pitch, don't we?
Yeah.
Talk me through your view of Declan, I only score bangers, Rice.
Well, it was a great goal. He's passed it to Fornells. Everybody's expected. You can see the defence going with Fornells because they think Fornells is going to go for the byline.
It was Benny, wasn't it? Was it Benny?
It was Benny. Sorry, Fornells wasn't on by then, was he? It was Benny.
Oh, sorry.
Everybody thinks Benny's going to go for the byline. Knocks it back to Rice, who he didn't have acres of space, but it looked like he had acres of space. And you knew before, as soon as he got the ball, what he was going to try and do. And he's just moved it slightly to one side, hit it, and you just see it at the back of the net. And what a goal. What a great goal. And Dec's celebration was interesting. He ran over, he celebrated with the fans, he went wild. But that was a real bit of quality football by Dec. Absolutely lovely.
Andy, I'm not sure where you sit, but
I'll sit right next to your away fans. I'll sit right next to your away fans.
You had an absolutely bang-on view of that.
Do you know what goal that reminded me of? It was sort of a bit like it. Do you remember when Felipe Anderson scored that goal against Palace when he sort of just wrapped his foot around it and that was down that same end as well, and that's what it just reminded me of. And Deck's got that in the locker. I was fortunate enough. I was behind the goal when he scored the goal against Southampton. Exactly the same sort of thing. Obviously a little bit lower, but if anyone who says it, I know that he's eventually going to leave to move on to better things. And if people fucking tell me that he doesn't give a shit about that club, just look at that celebration.
Celebration meant everything, didn't it? I saw that, and you can't help. It was the same as his goal. Was it away in Lyon? It was, wasn't it? When you guys, I don't know whether you guys went, but we were up in the gods behind the gated community. I think though actually what we were behind were the gates of St Paul up on, like, as you go into heaven. I think we were actually that close. And Rice, didn't he? He was pumping his chest. He was kissing the badge. The celebration reminded me of that.
Yeah.
Really did remind me of that. And it was good to see. It was such a good goal. But I could see it happening from the moment that he laid the ball wide to Ben Rama, as you spoke us through a minute ago, Steve. You could see exactly that he'd caused havoc down that left-hand side, and he kept trying to get down the wing, get to the byline. I think 2 or 3 actually went. There was 2 men on him, and one was marking Deck. And because the deeper one dropped, the one marking Deck actually went with him.
Yeah.
So what I did is that opened the space up for Deck. And I could see the second that Deck passed it out to Benny, in much the same way that people say that Bobby Moore played chess in his mind in football. He could see the move 3 or 4 moves ahead. He could see where the ball was going to go before the ball had even left 2 passes beforehand.
Yeah.
Felt like that watching the goal. It was, I don't know whether you call it predictable, but it was there. And the ball was laid back to him. And like you say, he got it out from his feet. And it was just perfect. It was just perfect. But like Hammerhead has said, players and defenders will stand off of him on the edge of the box, and he will score. Daniela, I will star your message, your comment, and I will come back to that shortly. I'm going to ask for your help here, Steve.
Yeah.
Before I go to Andy, because I've forgotten. Talk me through Antonio. Oh, it was the header at the back post. I remember it.
It was, yeah.
Four nails with a ball.
Great cross as well. Andy, Steve, sorry. Talk me through your part, your view of the goal, because obviously the cross came from your side as well, didn't it?
Yeah, it was right in front of me. What Fornals did was clever, and I mean it really was clever. It's just this little flick with his left foot to completely wrong foot the Forest defender, and he's then got time. He brings it back, puts it in front of him. He takes a look, he takes his time, and he flicks it and puts it pinpoint perfect for Antonio. That was one of the most composed crosses I've seen for a long while. He just made time so he could do what he wanted to with the ball. Really was a cracking bit of skill, actually. And Fornals, because he's a workhorse, we often forget the level of flair he's actually got. That's what he's bought for. He's bought for as a flair player.
Yeah.
And it's at moments like that you see just how good he is. And that goal wasn't for me about Antonio's header. All credit, Antonio's got to get there. It was about Fornals' assist and how he got that ball across to Antonio. It was just a glorious piece of football by him, in my opinion.
Andy, he was strong in the air, wasn't he? He bullied that defender to make sure that he was first to that cross.
Yeah, no, Antonio's done that since he revived at the club. I remember, obviously, the last goal at Upton Park, first goal at the London Stadium. Yeah. I think Liverpool, he scored it. He's known for that. But fair play to him for being in the box. But that will obviously do him confidence. But obviously, Danny Ings is cut. I know we're sort of cutting ahead. It's just unfortunate Danny Ings being cut tied for Wednesday, but it will be a benefit for him having a week off for when we go to Brighton. But for me, obviously, I know I'm cutting corners. I wouldn't play I'll play Skamaka on Wednesday.
Yeah,
I know he's
I
got
would
that
as well.
goal, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, it'll do him the confidence of he's good. For me, I don't know whether I know Forest was his old club and he didn't seem to celebrate, but no, he just don't look interested to me. He really don't.
He's not
I
been
know.
at Forest now for donkey's years, mate. I don't accept that was the last club he played for. That's why he didn't celebrate. I don't buy into that. I hate that.
Yeah,
Forest
I
are
know.
not wages anymore. Bullshit. If you like Tevez when he played for us against Man City, against us for Man City, scored in front of the West Ham fans, run round the back of the goal, held his hands together like he was pleading for, like he was apologising and pleading for forgiveness. But once he got past that, he went off and celebrated with the City players. Like that annoying. I've got a lot of time for Tevez for that, and I don't blame him for celebrating. But we're the guys paying the wages, mate. I want to see you celebrate. I want to see you.
Yeah.
I'll put it in the chat. I'm not going to put what I said. I'll tell you boys offline what I said. But yeah, I can't. I don't buy into that. I don't buy into that at all. He needs to be celebrating that.
But I think that's not the Forest thing. I just think he's like
Yeah, maybe.
I don't think it is. I don't think it is that. But can I just say, Duke? I don't know whether how much you heard it on the telly, but the chants what we were singing to Lingard was class.
I didn't hear the word. A lot of boos.
Okay. Oh fuck it! It's not for kids anyway. It was Lingard's a wanker everywhere he goes. Lingard's a wanker.
I didn't realise that was it until I read it this morning, but it was clearly getting stick.
Yeah.
I love that. Right, let's go before we wrap up because obviously I'm very conscious that I've still got a lot of people in the pub and stuff, and I don't want to drag this out too much.
Sorry, you're probably not going to say it. I hope this could be a start of a run for Areola in goal after Fab's injury.
I was going to say, I mean, that injury looked a bit naughty.
I'm surprised that weren't a card or anything because that was late. That was very late.
It was, but it's one of those. He was all, and again, I've watched it back a few times. The guy's stretching before the ball is actually completely into his arms. So he was already stretching. I don't blame the player. It's not. It's one of those. These things are going to happen. In my opinion, I don't think it was a card. I wouldn't have given a card for it. It's just an unfortunate, clash. As Hamid said, it looks like he's broken his orbital bone. The way that the eye was kind of, it's like sagging slightly. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And listen, I wouldn't have wished anything on Fab, but I'm glad that it gives Areola the opportunity now. I think he might get, unless he comes back with a big old mask on his face or whatever. I don't see him coming back now and doing the.
And I think that would be an advantage. Sorry, I know we said we want to wrap it up. Like the way he just come out and got one of the corners, especially against the big physical sides. That's where I'm feeling more confident now that we've got a goalkeeper who's brave and comes out and collects the ball.
Yeah. I mean, Daniela, your comment on the Declan Rice saga here. You've said here we need to call out Deck. I don't call out Deck on the Arsenal rumours. I think that's exactly what they are. They're Arsenal rumours. I think he does need to be asked if he's agreed to join them. He does need to be asked if the contract is on the table. He does need to be asked because it does come back down to tapping up completely. But I will cover that a little bit more probably tomorrow morning when I do out my Monday musings. East side, welcome, my man. Win means nothing for me, just papers over the cracks. Forest are awful away from home. And when you attack sides and play a centre forward, this is what happens. I completely agree. We've already said that at the start of the show that it was good to see us high pressing. Andy said that, against sides in this part of the league, we should be going out and going up against them and really pressing. I get going away to Manchester United. It's going to be a slightly different situation. True Cockney says, good point, Daniela. Hammerhead says the win was down to the players yesterday. Moy still has to go. I mean, listen, looking at the Chelsea result today, they lost 2-0 to Spurs. Who knows what's going to happen tomorrow, guys? The rumours were that we were hanging on for for Potter to be sacked, and if Potter gets the sack, then we move in, and who knows? Who knows? Let's see what tomorrow brings. Boys, I'll talk to you off air in a minute about something I have a little up here for.
And last thing, my man of the match was
covering that
was Aguerd.
He's something else, but we'll come to that. Steve, your man of the match.
Blimey. I think Ben Johnson, he was solid in the first half. Second half, they switch him over. They switch his position and he plays just as well. And I know lots of people are giving him stick, but he's played two different positions and done a good job, in my opinion.
I'm actually going to give mine to Declan Rice. A cliche, but again, his interceptions, his numbers, his figures yesterday were just again top draw. Shows you how much of an impact player he is for us. I'm going to have to fly because I've got obviously the Carabao Cup to go sort out downstairs. Gentlemen, thank you for joining me. I'm just going to quickly put this video. In fact, I'll close out with that video so we don't have to drag this out any longer. Gents, thank you for joining me. We've obviously got Manchester United on Wednesday, so we're going to be doing a recording of the preview to go out for that. So watch out for that. If you've liked the stream, give it a like. Give us a comment. Give us your thoughts on obviously the game.
And I want to apologise for my nonsense, and I apologise for my stat.
You, Andy, okay?
Because I actually said the words wrong. I was meant to say, if we get 2 wins, we'll go above Forest. But obviously, when you're on the fly and you're thinking of your next fix, so I do want to apologise for what I said. Yeah,
and Andy, you think that's bad? I said we shouldn't play Declan Rice. So where do you go?
Yeah, that's it. Is you a lesson. Yeah, like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell icon, and you will be notified when we put the video up for the preview. Last couple of comments then. Man of the match for Hammerhead was Bowen. Mandy says Better and Bowen were immense.
Yeah.
Hammer says it's only good if we're all saying different players wins. They were all good.
Yeah.
That's a nice one, boys. Guys, thank you all for joining me. Everyone in the chat, YouTube boys as well.
Pleasure, mate, as always.
Like, comment, subscribe, and Andy, I'm not quite sure it means it, but are we back? Are we there again? Can you say it once more?
No, I'm going to wait until after the Brighton game because we're going to actually beat our hoodoo on Brighton. But I'm just going to say, come on, you Irons this time.
Come on, you Irons.
Forged from Iron is proud to support Iron Supporting Food Banks. They are a group of West Ham United fans and friends inspired by the work of other football fan food banks around the country. They collect food and cash donations from Newham Food Bank in Beckton, who supply 7 distribution centres in the borough, 7 days a week, and hand out several hundred 3-day emergency food packs every month to families in need. They are also working with other groups to improve conditions for vulnerable adults and children in the Newham community. They are supported in their efforts by West Ham United Football Club, the WHU Foundation, LS185, London Legacy Development Corporation, Newham Council, the Met Police, Spire London East Hospital, Expedient Security, and a large number of West Ham and football fans. You can help by making a donation to their Just Giving page. You will find the link to this in the description section of the video details in this stream. Thank you for your support. Come on, you Irons.